Okay, welcome back. We are here for the John Deere. That's right, the John Deere. You thought we'd take the week off. Ben has been itching to take a week off. He
Oh,
thought,
yeah.
all right, well, why not the John Deere Classic? Nobody else is going to show up, so why the hell should we show up? At Jazz Raz DFS, at Shander Show. Happy July 4th. Hopefully you're enjoying this extra long extended weekend into a long week. And I guess we have to look back because a name was brought up on this very show, Ben, who happened to win outright. Now, to be fair, this was a life hedge. We hated the number, but we gave out a video on Twitter later in the week that showed you that Rickie Fowler was the best or one of the best ways to use that boost. So go, Rickie.
I got a lot of questions. First of all, I want to hear because I don't know these answers. Where are you? And then, yeah, Rickie, obviously maybe my favorite golfer. So I'm not going to say I was upset to see Rickie win. I am upset, though, that I've been backing him for 3 or 4 years to get back,
Yes.
and he wins in a week that I did not bet him at the worst number I've ever seen for him. So it was a sweet moment and a painful moment all wrapped into one. The thing I take away is this part of the season, as we know, you got to get to like 25. You have to have that mentality that I need to post 6 or 7 under basically every day, because if I don't, even the slightest missteps, I'm not going to be able to make enough birdies. And we saw that once again. Morikawa had a shot, but a lot of other guys just couldn't get low enough to compete.
You know, and that theme is not going away. I don't want to cut it
No.
right away because we're going to talk about the John Deere in a second. But you're right. That's a lot of the strategy. And I think that's what was somewhat of a deterrent for me. We talked about Morikawa here on the show last week, which was the guy's tremendous. I mean, he was one of the best names, at least remaining in the field, clearly better than everybody accomplishment-wise. It was just, can he do that? Because he hadn't really shown that. And then, he explodes. But to the point, easy courses like Detroit, we're back now in Illinois, right, for the John Deere. Like, these courses should allow guys with exceptional skill, approach shots, setting up birdies. Those guys should thrive. So when they don't, it just becomes maddening.
So, yeah, it's a tricky situation. And we saw, Decky, who I really like, no-showed. Finau, no-showed. Justin, like
JT, thank you for calling him out.
A lot of now. There's a larger conversation, one we won't delve into because we're here to give you some picks and whatnot. I do think that the best players in the world, the very best, their best skill set is limiting damage, not scoring. And I think that's why you see at events like this some lesser known names get in the hunt. Now, part of it's a weaker field. I understand that. But I think that the very best, their skill rises to the top more at a difficult course where they can hang on rather than everybody flag hunting. I think that's more of a Corn Ferry mentality. Some of these young guns that are in attack mode all the time. And we see that. Like, it's very difficult for some of these top end guys to reroute their brains about playing right at the flags, I think. And that's a tricky thing that I think that John Deere and some of these other week tournaments provide, because you just don't see that during a normal week.
That's a great point, and we're going to carry that into the John Deere. By the way, I'm up in...
Yeah, where are you?
I'm in the mountains up past Scranton and Carbondale. So I'm in Northeast Pennsylvania. And
by the casino? There's a casino over there.
Bethlehem Casino. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yes, Bethlehem
Sands Casino?
Yeah, Sands.
I'm not... You know what it is? I'm not too far from the New York State border, Binghamton. So that should kind of put it into perspective. I've been tempted to go drive about 30 minutes over the border and play some prize picks.
Hey, come on over. We can. It looks like it also looks like you're in. Is the air quality? Whatever. We're not going to get into the air quality. Let's get to the board. I'm stopping myself.
The air quality?
Yeah. Well, it looks hazy.
Oh, you can't see anything. No. You can't see anything.
Okay.
Right. I don't know if that's the mountain air or if that's the mist or if that's the Canadian wildfire. I have no idea, Ben.
It might just be the John Deere. That would be my guess, honestly. Just this field. Yes. It's hanging a cloud over all our heads. All right. What do you say? You want to just dive into the top here?
Yeah, I mean, everybody here is unplayable, but we're going to have to play somebody at the top. Right?
Yeah, I mean
Okay, I don't know where you wanna go. You start, man, because I don't think there's a wrong okay, so here's what I'd say, man. I don't think there's a wrong answer for who you wanna play at the top because none of them are great plays from a value standpoint, if that makes sense.
So, it's always a push and pull of what would you rather have? An incredibly strong field with elite players where you're getting amazing numbers on everybody, or a terrible field where you're getting horrible numbers on everybody, but the win equity for them is much higher. And if we can, I don't know if you can zoom in a little bit to the board just to bring it up a little more. There you go. Look at that. I look at these numbers. I have no issue if you want to back someone like Aberg or someone like that. The names that I want to start with, though, are more in this next range. I think that Steven Jager is a name I really wanted to talk about, but you have to shop it because it's gone down to 30 to 1. I got him at 40 to 1. He was in my article. I liked him quite a bit. He's making a ton of birdies. The putter at times fails him, and then the putter comes back. But let me jump a little up the board and actually give you another guy. How about Adam Schenk? 28 to
Yes.
1.
Thank you.
This is a type of guy. He lost to Griot in that playoff. He easily could have won. He's had a couple of 7th place finishes since then. He clearly can go low. He posted 20 under last week. It's this type of guy that I think is really poised. You don't know who it's going to be, of course, but of course, this type of tournament lends itself to guy who's been close looking for the breakthrough, aka Denny McCarthy, of course. But Adam Schenk, 28 to 1. I'm okay with that. I think he's the type of guy that really sets up well to compete here.
I love it, man. He is the guy that pops when you look at stats needed,
Yeah.
focus on this course. You're gonna be able to bomb for sure. You at the same time, though, the greens, even some of the fairways a little undulated, so you're not hitting off flat surfaces all the time. But approach is huge. Birdies are better. We talked about that, but mainly like approach shots, 75 to 150. Looking at 75, striking is especially ball striking, as we talked about, just your second shots. And he's a guy that I want to target a lot in here, especially compared to the field. So I'm with you, man. I think Schenk is a great player. I was just looking at this. Also, course history. He's one of, let's see, 4 people in the field that have had multiple top 15s over the last 5 years. I don't care if multiple is 2. He's only one of 4 people. And outside of your guy, Fratelli, we haven't really seen many people come into this event, Ben, and win it their first time. It takes it 1 or 2 times playing it successfully and coming back. Another one of your guys, Bez, I think had a really strong debut, finished second, right? So you can finish high, but I think playing this course, playing this tournament once, twice, being successful has led to a winner, and Schenk is right there. I love that.
Yeah. Again, you're never going to feel comfortable with these numbers. Most likely, you're backing a guy who hasn't won anything at a number that is not where we see non-winners, but that's just the nature of the beast. As we work down, I mean, yeah, of course. Go ahead. Get that out of the way. Normally, we have to wait till the end of the show, but
I
not
know.
this week.
I know. Look, Ben, I cannot believe, like, I can't, this is not even a life hedge, anything like that. If Eric Cole wins at 30 to 1 and you out there don't bet because it's Eric Cole at 30 to 1, you kind of just have to chalk that up. Like, this is how bad the field. Now, look, to be fair, you know me, I'm all over this guy. Love Eric Cole. This is an Eric Cole stand show right now. It's been for months, especially as he continues to cash plus money. He's probably like minus 200 top 40 in this. But you know what it is too, Ben? And 2 quick things about Cole. One, it doesn't seem to matter the field and the event. He is focused. He's showing up. His game is able to adapt. And I think to your point about limiting damage, that has been something he's been able to adapt and been able to score off. Another quick thing about Cole, he plays so much freaking golf and it has no negative effect. Like, can you even point to a time in which he looks worn down or just exhausted? He's got this energy like my 2-year-old son, and he just fired up all day, right? So I just love him, and I'm rooting for him. And he's got the same number as Griot, and I know what you're saying in there is like, all right, you probably should just take a guy like Griot. or maybe even Chris Kirk at 35 to 1 compared to Cole at 30. But I'm riding with my guy.
I see nothing in golf outright. Talk about this a lot again on this very channel. If you're looking for this type of content, uh, stay around. Check out what else we got going on. But I don't think it's bad. It is so difficult to hone in on a guy in 1 week and get it right. I'm a firm believer in what I call macro buying, and that's like, I'm going to play this guy for the next 4 tournaments that he plays in because I believe he's close. I don't know when it's going to be, but it's going to happen. And you've seen done that with Cole. To me, Alex Smalley fits that type of mentality. I liked him a lot last week, and he just couldn't get it going with his putter. He gained 7 strokes on the approach. He came in 47th, but he lost nearly 5 strokes with his short game around the green and putting combined. I'm not going to freak out and say, oh, I loved him last week, now I hate him. I'm just going to stick with it. I'm not going to stick with it to the end of time, but Alex Smalley is really, really striking the ball well. If he can spike a putting week, maybe he improves quite a bit here. So I don't mind that type of thought process because you're seeing erratic play, and it's only a couple of missed shots on a Thursday or Friday. You don't even make the weekend when the cut is 5 under. It's that thin of margins.
All right. So we've got a couple of other guys here popping around, right? First off, the Postman, defending champ, 45 to 1. Certainly not playing. I mean, look, if you are a defending champ of an event this devoid of top talent and you're 45 to 1, I don't need data golf or anything else in front of me to know that JT Poston is just not playing like we've seen at the top of his game. But familiarity, a place to play here. I'm not going to bet him to repeat at 45 to 1. But I am interested in a couple of names, and I'm just, look, you brought up, not on the, I don't know, maybe on the show or maybe it was just in Discord. Shout out to the Discord, half off your first week. There's a link below. Come on in. That's the best place to sweat live and golf throughout the week since we do this earlier in the week. But Sepp and Bez, we talked about Bez, briefly as far as course history. This is a guy that definitely can fit. He's played well here. So the 2 names I wanted to throw at you kind of in this mid-range to open up the convo would be certainly Bez, and I know you have a soft spot in your heart for him. But look, from Bez to Ches, this is a guy who's been playing well over the past couple of weeks, and I don't know if it's too soon to ignore a little heater, at least of consistent golf.
I mean, Ches has definitely played really, really good golf, popped at Travelers, smoked the putter for like 2 months, and then he did not putt well in his last event. That doesn't mean it's gone. Maybe he rebounds. Right. Listen, if you watch the show or you follow me on Twitter, I'm going to be partial more to Bez than Ches. Just that's my guy. I believe that I've seen a lot of Euro golf in my time. Really like Bez coming over here. I don't have either of them on the card right now. If I add one, it'll probably be Bez, and it'll probably be more in the top 10 or top 20 market. I think he's poised to play well. Could he win? Of course, but I don't think 50 to 1 is the best number in the world. That seems about right to me. Do you have any, as we work down, I know, listen, it's the John Deere, and if you have questions, you get in our Discord, take advantage of everything that's going on. I do think there are a couple of names down the board that certainly are going to get in the mix. We don't know who it's going to be, but I have a couple on my list, and one that I actually already placed for an outright.
All right, well, save that for the last one. All right,
sure.
let's tease that. Two guys that I saw popping that I had some interest. I did not bet yet, but Bramlett and Glover, certainly from a fit standpoint. Sorry?
Said the glove. He was amazing last week on the weekend.
Yeah, and I think there's some carryover in the type of course we're talking about, the type of play we're talking about. Absolutely. I'm interested. I mean, look, Dylan Wu had that day. Some of these guys you're just going to need to carry more than a day, clearly, in order to win something here. So before you take it away at the end, I just wanted to go through one more time. The only other guy that we missed that I like was Nick Taylor. Again, that was more of a fit here. I mean, you're getting into Peter Quest made up. This is a guy that some kid made up on PGA 23.
He was great.
Last week, right?
Good for that guy.
I mean, Aksha, Bhatia, Sig. look, you've got some of these guys who, if they can put something together, all of a sudden by the cut are probably cut in half from their odds. And Grayson Sig would be one of these guys. You know, Carl has been popping up a lot, right? Last couple of weeks, randomly. He hasn't been staying, but if Carl Yuan can just, again, I'm talking about a bunch of guys who can't put more than like a day and a half or 2 days together, and that's why they are so far back. Honestly, I have no idea. I mean, did you put money on Harry Higgs already?
No, didn't do that.
Okay, I'll give you one crazy one. I'll give you one belligerent one before you take it away. Scott Piercy is somebody who can pop up when you start to look at metrics for this specific course and relation to the field. He is not nearly from I got to be careful how I explain this.
I can't wait to hear this.
He's not nearly as bad. Well, like he's probably like 140 or so when you look at how he relates to the field in some key areas, like we talked about, birdies are better, gaining strokes on the approach. It's not something that has been consistent, and that's why he's awful as far as where the odds are. But that's a little long shot that I'm probably going to play top 40.
I mean, Scott Piercy's had his times. I'm not sure what's really left. His irons, there's still a strength, but it's not like it was. He used to be crazy good at times. Listen, you want a YOLO play? I'm not going to push back. I'm going to have you go up the board, though, back to like the, I think, more reasonable range. And I'm going to land on Callum Tarren. You can find 80-1 out there. It's going down. It was 100, then it was 90. I think this is about the drop dead range, not playable after this. Callum Tarren is really playing good golf. Now, as I've said multiple times already, is he going to put it all together? You know, that's a very difficult question to answer, but all we can do is say, okay, this guy's pretty close. And even last week, he came in 29th in that tournament. And you say, okay, well, you know, he's 43rd, 33rd, and 29th in his last 3 starts. His ball striking is as good as anybody in this field, and lately it's better than anyone in this field. Last week, Callum Tarren gained 12.5 strokes tee to green, and he lost 8 strokes putting. That is atrocious. Now, his putter has not been good. That's not an outlier, but 8 strokes bleeding on the greens is an outlier. If he keeps striking it like he is, Callum Tarren is a serious, serious threat to get in the mix. He's been really close to these top. You mentioned with some of these guys, they're there for like 54 holes and they can't hold it. Tarren is in that bucket, and I really like him this week. I'm going to probably ladder him across the board. I picked him up last week live, didn't work out. I'm going right back to Tarren.
Love it, man. Love it. All right, there you have it. That's a nice little board there of outrights. We always suggest the top 40. You real quick. You want to take a look at a matchup here? By the way, there's nobody right now that jumps out, right? Like you would have to fade somebody significant here to miss the cut. And unfortunately, we don't have anybody that is big enough to warrant major plus money, right? And whatever you're doing out there, don't do this. Whatever you don't ever bet this. Even I know not to bet this. Matchups. I'm sure we can take advantage. Like, I'm really interested in this matchup right here. Ludwig Aberg is a beast. He's a bomber. We saw some cracks. We saw some inability to stick around after 36 to 54 type holes. And I just don't know about that. Look, Doug Gim is always going to be a little bit of a stretch here. Do you see anything else? You know, you may be able to work somebody struggling like this, you know, Smalley versus Power. I'm interested in that. I'm not going to fade. What about this one here? Hadwin versus Young. I know Young is the big bad name. How often do we see that work out unless your name's John Rahm?
I don't know what to do with Cam Young. That'll be it's more of a DFS problem than a betting problem. With betting, I probably won't do anything. To me, Alex Smalley against Seamus is probably the matchup I'm most interested in. Smalley's playing solid golf. I feel very confident in his ability to give you middling finishes, and that might be good enough Power just, and I'm a big fan of his, just not really playing great right now. It's been mediocre at best. The iron play's regressed. Maybe he finds it at a weak field like this, but Smalley's been playing. He's got reps. He's in form. So that's probably my favorite matchup on the board, just having eyeballed this without digging in fully.
So, last thing to mention real quick on the way out. We didn't talk about Russell Henley because his number is atrocious, but he is my favorite top end guy by all means, and I'm going to play this matchup. No knock on Denny. I just think Russell Henley is the most live of the top guys to win this thing outright.
You're a braver man than me. I'm not. I really don't know. If I had to bet one of the two, it would probably be Henley over McCarthy. But in terms of a matchup, I don't really have a take there. So I leave it to you. You've been hot on the matchups. Last thing for me, two last things for me.
Go ahead.
So I lied to you, audience. If you've made it this far, one, of course, have a safe, happy, healthy 4th. Enjoy. If you're watching this on Tuesday, even if it's Wednesday, I hope your 4th was good. And then we say it every time. Every single number we gave you today, every single one is on DraftKings. That does not mean that it's the best number in the world. And you want to make sure you shop these numbers, whether you have one book or 2 books or 6 books. Just take advantage. We have the links below, including Bet365. They're giving you $1 and you have the opportunity to turn it into 200 just by placing that first bet. If you're in one of those states, again, it's just a great opportunity. And even if you're not, there are many books that have golf offerings. You get the best number over time, it adds up so quickly. So I just want to make sure, I'll say it every show we do, shop these lines, take advantage of these books. And if you are interested, the links below can provide you those promos and deals.
Look, what we found, and you're only in a couple of states, right? New Jersey, Virginia, Ohio, Colorado, and now Iowa. So what we have found, because we have people, some cases we have employees, fellow employees that work in these states, Bet365, you're going to get better numbers. You're going to get better numbers significantly more times than not. And if I can add, Ben, a lot of, as you know, because you shop and you play a lot of, if it's betting golf or just individual outright sports, golf, NASCAR, these sports where you have one person to win outright as opposed to teams, that's where you can find even more wiggle room. So if you're watching this and you're not on Bet365 and you're in one of these states, you're losing a ton of value right now without even doing that. So just jump in and sign up, as Ben mentioned below.
Yeah, well said. So there we have it.
Now 20 minutes on the John Deere. You're welcome out there.
We did it. British Open is coming up fast and furious, but these tournaments, love them or hate them, you get a chance to bet some guys that normally don't have a realistic odds to win. These guys, someone, a first-time winner is very likely, considering it feels like none of the field has ever won. So hot take there. I mean, I kind of like that, even though it is annoying at times. So we get to put some names on the card that maybe wouldn't normally make the cut.
All right, you got a lot of tennis to go watch, Ben. We appreciate you hanging with us
raining.
At Jazz Res and hot dogs.
And hot dogs.
Here. We'll see you for the Open.